they've started construction since the last time we went through here. All right, everybody, there's Mountain Road where we left off 2 days ago. And we are back on the AT. Good morning, everyone. I am back on the AT after a relaxing 0 day. I'm in Delaware, Water Gap, Pennsylvania, about to leave the state. We're gonna cross the Delaware River, end up in New Jersey, and in 4 miles, we're gonna reach the 1,300 mile mark. It's gonna be an awesome day. Today, I'm gonna hike 22.2 miles to a campsite near Rattlesnake Mountain. It's gonna be 2 miles short of the Brink Shelter, which was going to be my original destination. However, the Brink Shelter is closed, shut down by the Park Service, in addition to its water source because of aggressive bear activity. Recently, a bear entered the shelter area and the tent area, described as unafraid of humans. And so the Park Service has set up a bear trap, a cage, a humane trap. They're gonna, I would presume, live capture the animal and then evaluate it, hopefully re-release it in a different area. So since it's closed, I'm gonna stop 2 miles short at a campsite. 22.2 miles, respectable day. Ah, finally, I've got dirt back under my feet. Boy, this couldn't start out any smoother today. We're on our way up today's big climb, and the trail is very smooth. The grade is very gentle. Lots of good switchbacks. We are at the intersection of the AT and Holly Springs Trail, which just so happens to be 1,300 miles along the AT. 1,300 down, 894.3 to go. You know, each 100-mile mark is an exciting moment. And it hasn't escaped me just how they are adding up. 1,300 miles down, less than 900 miles left to go. There could be a tendency to begin to get excited and start envisioning how close I am becoming. I'm on pace to finish this thing in about 2 months. My challenge that I've given myself is to try not to get too excited about the remaining distances. A lot can happen between now and Mount Katahdin, and I'm working to discipline myself to stay grounded in the moment, to focus on the present while keeping the long view in sight, so that I don't get overly excited and rush and not focus on the here and now, because the here and now is quite a beautiful experience. I'll accept the rest of the beauty down the trail as it arrives, including when I make it to Maine and Mount Katahdin. And while I am appreciative and grateful and excited to hit the 100-mile marks, I need to promise myself that I'll stay grounded and focus on the here and now, and continue to accept with gratitude what the trail has to offer. So for the next mile or so, we're going to walk alongside Sunfish Pond. It's a glacial pond, so it's formed by a glacier, and it's one of the 7 natural wonders of New Jersey and a national landmark. So the sign said because of its acidic content, only certain types of fish, such as sunfish and yellow perch, can survive, but it's not a typical pond, because the Far Out app states that this sucker can reach depths up to 600 feet. So we are at the top of Raccoon Ridge, which is also known as Kittatinny Mountain. It's a beautiful day. I tell you, for the first day of being in New Jersey, this is a great view to see, to get to know the state. It's very peaceful. on the top of the Kittatinny Ridge. And these views today, just beautiful. I have no idea which lake I am looking at, but it's gorgeous. So far, I'm loving New Jersey. There's some rocks, but way more forgiving than anything I experienced in Pennsylvania. Why? Who would have thought New Jersey had such great views? These are views from the top of the Kittatinny Ridge. Looking down into Blairstown, New Jersey. So far, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying walking in New Jersey. The trail has been smooth, and the views have been really good. I've heard that New Jersey has some really good views, but I wouldn't have imagined there would be so many stacked upon each other the way they have been. It's really been a delight. Also helps that the weather is so good today. We're in the mid 70s, but there's no humidity. It's so comfortable. It's been a really enjoyable walk. Here is the advisory that I spoke of earlier about the Brink Road shelter being closed. It would have been our typical destination, but we're gonna have to stop about 2 miles short of it. So I'd like to point out that there's a couple of minor discrepancies between the Far Out app and the AT guide, at least for New Jersey. There's a difference in mileage between certain points of interest between the two. For example, the Far Out application might list a water source at, say, 20.1 miles. And well, the AT guide might list the exact same water source at being at like 20.6 miles. There's no clear way of knowing which one is accurate. So I am really just cross-referencing both as I go along throughout the day, and we'll see how it compares through the rest of the state. We had a similar circumstance in Pennsylvania, and so at this point I'm used to it. It's something that really all the hikers have probably had to deal with that use both the AT guide and the Far Out app. Now for me, I use the AT guide primarily as my go-to for planning, because it's very easy to scroll through and reference, but I navigate using the Far Out app. Another discrepancy is that there are some sites in the AT guide that aren't listed in the Far Out app. So for example, the campsite that I'm going to today is listed in the AT guide at being at mile marker 1319.1. And that same campsite is not listed at all in the Far Out app. So since I use the AT guide as a planning tool and the Far Out app as my navigation tool, I created a waypoint just to make sure that I don't pass it up in the Far Out app. But I guess we'll see which one is most accurate when I get there, because if I get there and there's no campsite, then we know the discrepancy exists with the AT guide. And if we get there and there is a campsite, then we know it's just a point of interest that's missing in the Far Out app, in which case I can probably try to add a comment near the water source that's adjacent to it to let other hikers know that it's there. Just thought I'd share. As for whether or not that campsite actually exists, we'll find out in about 4 miles when I get there. Well, everybody, I have arrived at camp. I have already set up my tent, and the good news is the AT guide was correct. Where there was a discrepancy, the AT guide had listed that there was a campsite at mile 1319.1, and it was not listed in the Far Out app. There are actually a couple of different campsites at this location. One with a fire pit, and then there's a couple other more stealth sites available. And so I've set up camp here at this campsite. And so everybody, it was a very good first day in New Jersey. It was 22.2 miles to the campsite, just as I had predicted. And I'm set up for a 22.3 mile day to High Point Shelter tomorrow. The trails in New Jersey are a bit rocky in spots, but in other spots it's very smooth dirt trail. Ridge walked all day today except for that one climb, which was not that steep. All in all, the trail is very similar in New Jersey to that of Pennsylvania, and so it was a good walk. I enjoyed it. I appreciate everybody being with me today for 2 big milestones. We've marked off another state, and we achieved the 1,300 mile marker. So it was a great day. And how about those views? I just can't get over how great the views are in New Jersey, at least in the first 20 miles that I experienced today. So if there's more like that to come, I'm definitely going to enjoy the rest of New Jersey. I appreciate everybody joining me today. Thank you very much for all your support. I'll see you tomorrow.